Hi guys. So my dogs are probably gonna bark during this because they love to do that as soon as I start making videos. My project over genetic disorders is covering hemophilia, so I'm very excited to talk to y'all about it today. To get started, why will it not click over to the next slide? Good start already. It's down here. Okay. To get started, we're going to talk about genetic principles. Okay, so hemophilia is a sex-linked, X-linked recessive disorder. What that means is it is usually going to be passed down from the mom's side, usually to sons, because they're going to get an X from their dad, and they're going to get an X from their mom. Okay, because they don't have the X from their dad to cancel out like the healthy X chromosome, you're going to see the hemophilia show up. For daughters, you can have carriers, you can have unaffected. Because they have a healthy X from their dad and a carrier X from their mom, they won't necessarily show symptoms of hemophilia. They may show a few, like extra bleeding that is not necessarily common, but it'll be milder cases. So there are two main types of mutations. You can have hemophilia A or hemophilia B. There's also hemophilia C, but that one was very rare, so I'm just providing the two main types. So for A, that means that you have a clotting factor protein deficiency on on clotting factor 8. So there are 13 total proteins that code for blood clotting, and you would have a deficiency on 8. For B, you would have a deficiency on the clotting factor 9. So these are on the F8 gene. Just some things to talk about with their major phenotypic features. Most people are going to present as healthy individuals. This disorder just prevents your blood from clotting, so any bumps, bruises, scrapes, you're going to have extra bleeding. You may have extra like big and kind of deeper bruising. The two individuals that I included on this slide, this is Alex Borstein. You may have recognized her from the Lizzie McGuire movie, or if that's not your thing, you may recognize her from Marvelous Miss Maisel. She's amazing. She is a hemophilia carrier. Her daughter has a mild case of hemophilia. Her uncle and brother they have hemophilia. So she's been dealing with that. She's a huge advocate. This character over here is Alexei. He's from the Romanov family. The reason I picked this is because as a little kid, I loved the movie Anastasia. So I was like, what better way to look more into the royal bloodline? I just love it. I think it's so fascinating. And we're going to get into that more on some future slides. Sorry. Okay, so here is that bloodline that I was talking about, that royal family bloodline. It all starts with Queen Victoria. She was a carrier. Everybody in red that you see actually had hemophilia. So what you'll notice is that all of these names in red are the men in the family line. They sometimes call hemophilia the royal disorder or the royal disease because it's inherited from the mom, from the women in the bloodline, and passed on to the boys. The crazy thing is the hemophilia in this bloodline actually kind of disappeared after 3 generations, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's really fun to look into if you are looking for something to do in your spare time over your spring break. Really cool to look into the royal bloodline. Okay, so treatment. The CDC approved clotting factor concentrates, so those can either be episodic or prophylactic. So what that means, episodic is going to treat you if you are bleeding profusely at the moment. So it's like an episode. If you're having an episode, if you like have a cut, sometimes even with like dental work, people will get their teeth pulled and then like they can't stop the bleeding in their gums. So that would be a clotting factor that they would use if you were in the midst of an episode. Prophylactic is more of a preventative, something that's really cool. In 1992, the FDA approved the recombinant factor 7, okay? What that means is it's a genetically engineered DNA technology, so kind of like that epigenetics that we were talking about, to remove or inactivate blood-borne viruses. So that's something that's being used as a prophylactic or a preventative. So the way I remember that is prophylactic, preventative. They both start with P. The problem with this is that some people that get these prophylactics will sometimes, one example is that Hemlibria, yep. One example is on the slide, and people will develop inhibitors to it. So once they've received those concentrates or those recombinant factors a lot, they could develop a kind of an immunity to it. So then you have to kind of figure out a different treatment for them. So that's just something to keep in mind. The Hemlibra, I think I said it wrong originally, replaces the function factor of 8 instead of the clotting factor. So it's going to replace the way that is functioning in your body instead of kind of trying to repair the actual clotting factor itself. Background, for A, it's 1 out of 5,000 live male births, and for B, it's 1 out of 20 to 30,000 live male births. So it's a pretty rare genetic disorder, especially type B, and only 1/3 of those come from spontaneous mutation. So that means 2/3 or 67-ish% are going to be from those genetic lines. So if you know that you're a carrier, if you know that you're maybe getting married to a carrier, that's just something to look into, something to think about. And then I think here is this tree that I made, which I'm pretty sure I must have done something wrong because it does not look like the example that Professor Day had in her video. I feel like all of these look like they're very linked. We have the bonobo over here. We have our gorilla over here. The white-cheeked gibbon is this little dude. We have the sooty mangabey, which I love him, okay? He's so precious. Sooty, he reminds me of like the Cinderella monkey. Sumatran orangutan, he's behind my face. There he is. Most of the pictures of these guys looked a little angry, but he looks like a happy guy. And so I picked his picture. We have us, the human, chimpanzees. Where did I put them? Oh, he's so cute. We love him. The crab-eating macaque. We're gonna go with that. It's right here. The golden snub-nosed monkey. These guys either looked really angry or really sad in all their pictures, so I just picked the best one. And then we have a horse. So he has his own line entirely. Common ancestor would be right here. Most of my people in my tree are of like the monkey variety, and I think that makes a lot of sense for hemophilia because probably that's the most studies that have been done. I would love to see more information, but but the horse already had 80%, and that was the lowest that we were told to go, so that's where we left it. And then I have my sources. So if y'all have any questions, I've really looked forward to seeing all y'all's discussions so far in this class, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day.